guess. That would be
That would
cool.
be,
Yeah.
you know what? I want to get back to what Larry
My fan
said,
club.
where Larry was saying, like the Catholic schools or the private schools pay so much less than the public schools. Maybe they're the ones who have it right. Maybe that's really what fair compensation is, and maybe wasteful spending of the government is what has the public schools making so much more money.
Well, maybe there's a happy medium somewhere there to where we could bring the private
Davis
sector
Big?
up, and I don't know. I mean, if you walked a mile in a teacher's shoes, I think it may shed a little different light on this subject.
It would not, for any way, shape, or form. It wouldn't change at all for me, because I believe any job, anything that you go into, has its own set of unique pressures and aggravations that we all entail. And I always say, when you get to a certain job, the reason people stay at a particular job or profession is because that's the job that they can tolerate the best, that it fits what's right for them. They can tolerate that. There's some, I'm sure there are some jobs that if I went and did them, I'd be like, I can't do this, and I'd have to quit, and I'd have to get out of it. I couldn't do it, and eventually I would find what sort of fit me. So I don't think that there's, although there are different pressures and different problems that arise for teachers, that's like saying, oh, well, if you were a truck salesman, that's the perfect job. There's nothing that could possibly be aggravating. I'm saying that there's problems everywhere.
Yeah, but we're getting off subject here. We're talking about taxpayers' dollars. That's what we're talking about.
But that's what I'm saying is when he brought up the private schools compared to the public schools, are the public schools overpaid? Do the private schools really have? Do they have the right pay structure for the job?
Well, let me jump in here. Allow me to retort.
Please.
Okay, good. You got your attention now?
Mm-hmm.
You want a pencil?
You always got my attention.
Okay. The private schools are run efficiently. The private schools are run with what you had said as a budget.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just hire. If they need 3 janitors, they don't hire 10 janitors like the public system does.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of patronage and there's not a lot of waste. They ought to be the model because they stay within their means. So they ought to be. There should be more lenience towards them or credence to their credibility. And then again, I go back to the Davis-Bacon Act. I don't understand if the unions say you have to be in a prevailing rate. Why can't we do a reverse with that? If there's so many kids at this school and this geographic, whatever the meter might be, why can't the school that across the street that's a public school stay within the same type of budget as the private school that's right down the block? And I keep banging, I know. I'm terrible with these microphones.
Well,
I think I'm just going to get a headset.
But, you and I are saying
I can lean back and do whatever I want.
Tim, you and I are saying the same thing. We're sort of arguing the same thing just from in a little different way. You're saying, hey, it needs to be in line. I'm saying it needs to be in line. I'll give you the credit that you're actually tying it into some legislation and some laws and saying, hey, why can't this be? And I'm just saying that, and I've said it over and over again, I think everything just spirals out of control, and at some point, just common sense needs to take over. And I have nothing against teachers. I think they're great. I think they're wonderful. We need them. We need quality teachers. It's just, when it's caving in on itself, don't you have to stand up and go this? And it's not even.
But I don't know that it's caving in. I don't know that the schools are caving in. I think the rest of the government is caving in. And they're going after the teachers because that's a big budget matter. That's a big thing. But it should be a big budget matter. It should be police, fire, and teachers, pretty much in that order. That's where our tax dollars go. So they're going, oh, well, here, out of the budget, we've got police and fire. Oh, well, politically, we can't touch the police and fire because everybody will freak out. Not that it's doing any good in Chicago. We're the murder capital of the world here in Chicago now. But the teachers, they go after the teachers, and they don't give any kind of consideration to what's going on. I personally, Larry made me think of something. I'll change gears here for a sec. You know what we ought to do? We ought to tax sports tickets. We ought to put $1 or $2 tax on all these kinds of tickets and put them right to the school district. Just because it's the biggest budget, it's the biggest dollar amount. Who's on the phone there?
But Tim, you're saying tax again.
Who is it?
You can give a name, but he won't.
Who are you? Hello, you're on the air.
Mystery caller?
Hello? Is there somebody there? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Who is this? Do you have a name?
Turn the phone upside down. I think you're talking into the earpiece.
You've dialed heaven.
Keep going.
Okay, that was our one caller. Please call back.
No, don't. I don't know. He doesn't know how to use the phone. He might be one of those clueless people.
I'll send you money.
No, but why?
That might be offensive.
Oh, we got Tim being offensive. Ding, ding.
Semi or offensive, Chuck? We weren't paying attention.
Oh, wait,
I told you
Chuck,
there's a test
come in
later,
here
Chuck.
on the rating. Was Tim offensive, semi-offensive? What was he on that one?
I guess semi-offensive.
You have to get all the way to the microphone.
Semi-offensive.
Let's review the tape.
Okay.
I want to recount.
Yeah.
All right, listen, back to this thing. Why can't we do a forensic budget with the school districts? Why couldn't we sit down and actually rebuild a budget for a public system or the public system? I mean, it's crazy. Our taxes, not only our real estate taxes, our sales tax, our county taxes are going to fund the school districts.
Mm-hmm.
And what are we doing? We're saying, okay, out of a 100% budget, the school districts is probably 30%, 35% of the budget. So let's just cut the 35%. That's absolutely crazy. It's a price, like Larry had made a comment, that this is something that later we're going to pay for. We should be investing in our kids right now. And you and I disagree. We talked about this. Is this caller back? No. Oh, okay. I think when you cut after-school programs, you cut the programs for the kids that aren't necessarily the jocks, the hobby, the band. It's been a long time since I've been in school. Chuck, what other programs do they have in schools besides football and hockey and soccer?
I spent a lot of time in detention. How about you, Chuck?
Yeah, I spent my
That was my after-school
I
program.
actually did too, but art and
Art.
graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah, art. What else?
I don't know. I mean, I was in a graphic design course.
Okay. And these are all things that keep, the idle mind is a devil's workshop. And you think that parents are supposed to take their kids out and take them to art class. Or
And
do
see,
things.
then I'm not articulating myself well. I
Well,
am
well,
all
please retort.
for those programs
All right.
when we can afford them. But when there's no money for them, what are you going to do? You got to stick to the basics of education.
But there is money for them, and that's what I'm saying is the money should be there for them. Larry, you're being very
wait,
quiet.
you-
Would you
you-
tell
Tim,
Paul
Tim,
that he
you
doesn't know
said
what he's talking
you said
about?
should. You said the money should be
It
there.
is
for-
there.
It's not. And and I'm not taking on education. I'm taking on this global, huge thing of all the waste that all the government spending. That's a waste. You know what? Would I rather cut the fat somewhere else? And
Right.
put it into education.
That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
I'm not. But it's not. That's not going to happen either. And why can't it get fixed? I guess that's the underlying question. How on earth are we going to get the government to step in and say, or the people to get the government to listen and say, make wiser decisions? Yes, educate our youth. Provide them these things. But if we don't realize there's got to be cuts and there's got to be sacrifices, then it's never going to get better.
We need to hold the politicians accountable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the problem. We need to.
Yeah.
Hey, who's this?
We have Joe on the line.
Joe. Are you there, Joe? Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
What's happening?
I don't know. What's up with you?
We're having a fundraiser.
Another one.
And we're trying to get Steve out of Vegas.
Oh, it's
Trying
a
to
joke
get
from
him
last
away
week.
from the clutches of stupid. That's what the fundraiser's based on this week.
Is Dennis Miller calling? Who is this?
Yeah.